there comes a moment when the body begins to speak louder than thought. A quiet tremor, a pulse of awareness, a sudden weight in the chest, not illness, but calling. The body is signaling that change is near. I am Shi Hengyi, and today we will uncover what it truly means to ready your body not for battle or performance, but for transformation itself. In the old Shaolin monasteries, monks believed the body was the first scripture to be read. Before understanding the mind, before mastering the spirit, one had to master the breath, the posture, the way energy flows through the limbs. The way you stand reveals the way you think. The way you move reveals the way you live. There is an ancient saying, when the body is untrained, even wisdom cannot stand. Many seekers ignore this truth. They chase enlightenment while neglecting the vessel that must carry it. But the masters knew, the body is the gate, and through it, all transformation begins. In this journey, we will explore why tension hides deeper emotional wounds, why stillness can unlock forgotten strength, and how every breath you take is either preparing you or weakening you for what's coming. You will see that readiness is not about muscle or speed, but alignment, the union of body, mind, and intention. Stay with me until the end, because the lesson waiting there is one few have heard, a truth whispered in the silence between movement and rest. Welcome, my friends, to Shaolin Soulfire, where the ancient flame of discipline meets the light of awareness. If this path speaks to you, subscribe, walk with us, and let the body remember what the soul already knows. There was once a young disciple who came to me with trembling hands. He said, "Master, I train every day, yet I feel weaker." I watched him for a moment and replied, "You are not weak but divided. The mind, when left untamed, is like water spilled upon the ground. It seeps into every crack, every distraction, until nothing remains strong. But when that same water is gathered and directed, it becomes a river capable of cutting through stone. This is the power of attention. Where your focus goes, your energy follows. If your thoughts wander through fear, anger, comparison, your strength disperses. If your awareness rests in calm purpose, your body begins to serve that purpose. In Shaolin training, we say, the punch does not begin with the hand, but with awareness. A single movement performed with full attention carries more force than 100 done unconsciously. Each day, your attention is tested. Devices, noise, emotions, all compete for your inner flame. But attention is not a thing to chase. It is something to return to. When you feel scattered, breathe deeply. Feel your feet on the ground. Let awareness collect itself like mist gathering into rain. Slowly, the energy returns. You may notice the body changing, the breath steadier, the shoulders lighter, the heartbeat calmer. This is no miracle. It is the natural alignment of inner and outer. The mind leads, the body follows. When the two move together, life becomes rhythm instead of struggle. To master attention is to master direction. And once direction is mastered, no storm can confuse your path. The body obeys what the mind believes. So train the belief, strengthen the focus, and let your energy flow where it is truly meant to go. There was a time when the monks of the temple would rise before dawn, long before the sun touched the mountain. The air was cold, the courtyard silent. Every day, they repeated the same movements, stances, strikes, breaths, over and over, until each became a part of their heartbeat. To outsiders, it looked like repetition without purpose, but within that rhythm, freedom was being born. Discipline is often mistaken for control, for limitation. Yet in truth, it is the art of liberation. When the body obeys wisdom instead of impulse, when the mind follows clarity instead of craving, a deeper kind of peace begins to appear. Freedom does not come from doing whatever we wish, but from mastering the forces that once ruled us. The untrained self is easily swayed by emotion, by desire, by the pull of the world. One day the spirit is determined, the next it is restless. But discipline gives the heart a steady pulse. Through consistency, the chaos of thought softens into order. Through restraint, wasted energy becomes focused power. There is a saying from the old masters, the sword that is always drawn becomes dull. The sword kept in its sheath stays sharp. Restraint preserves strength, routine refines it, discipline tempers it into something unbreakable. When the storms of life arrive, pressure, fatigue, doubt, it is discipline that holds you upright. Not motivation, not mood. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps the body moving, the breath steady, the purpose alive. And within that constancy, something sacred happens. The mind no longer fights the body, and the body no longer resists the mind. They move as one, calm and unshaken. That is the taste of true freedom, the kind that no chaos can steal and no weakness can command. In the old temple courtyards, the monks would move in silence, their feet brushing the earth, their robes whispering like wind through bamboo. To a passerby, it might have seemed like a dance. Yet within each gesture lived profound stillness. Their movements were not for display, but for remembrance, the remembrance of presence itself. In Shaolin teaching, meditation is not confined to a cushion. Stillness is not the absence of motion, but the absence of distraction. When you walk with awareness, each step becomes a sacred act. When you breathe consciously, each inhale becomes a renewal of life. Movement becomes a living prayer, a dialogue between body and spirit. There is wisdom in rhythm. The body, when guided by attention, flows effortlessly, wasting no motion, no thought. The untrained body rushes, hesitates, and burns its energy in tension. The trained one glides, light, efficient, precise. This is not learned in a single day. It is the outcome of countless moments of returning to awareness again and again. The ancients said, the body is the brush, the mind is the ink. Every movement writes the story of your consciousness. If your mind is scattered, your movements are rough. If your mind is calm, your gestures speak grace. True mastery is not about performing complex techniques. It is about merging awareness with action. Whether striking, bowing, or simply standing still, the awakened one remains centered, not lost in thought, not dragged by impulse. When movement becomes meditation, life itself becomes the temple. Every task, lifting, walking, breathing, transforms into practice. Energy no longer leaks into distraction, it circulates in harmony. And in that quiet harmony, strength arises without force and peace flows even in motion. A young monk once asked, "Master, how do I defeat distraction?" The master simply poured him a cup of tea. When the cup overflowed, the monk cried out, "It sips, spilling." The master smiled and said, "Just as this tea cannot stay when the cup is already full, the present cannot enter when the mind is crowded with yesterday and tomorrow." The present moment is not small. It is vast and alive. Yet most people pass through it like sleepwalkers, haunted by what was or worried by what might be. The Shaolin way teaches that the now is the only real battlefield. Every fear, every hesitation, every regret tries to pull you away from this point of stillness. But here, in this breath, this heartbeat, all strength and clarity reside. When the mind anchors in presence, chaos begins to lose its grip. The body no longer stiffens at uncertainty. The heart no longer races at shadows. You start to see things as they are, not as fear paints them. The strike, the word, the decision, all arise from calm awareness instead of reaction. This is not passivity, it is the highest form of readiness. Presence does not mean ignoring the world, it means meeting it directly without confusion. The present moment cuts through illusion like a blade, precise, clean, merciful. Discipline trains you to return here again and again, through breath, through awareness, through still observation. Life continues to move, but your center does not sway. In that still center, choices become clear, actions flow effortlessly, and the noise of the world fades into quiet understanding. Presence is not a skill to learn, it is the home you must remember. And when you stand there fully, nothing can pull you away. There was a warrior once known for his unmatched skill. His strikes were swift, his power feared, but pride began to dwell within him like a shadow. One day, during a demonstration, his strength failed, not because his body had weakened, but because his heart had turned away from virtue. The elders said, when the spirit becomes corrupt, even the strongest arm trembles. In every true discipline, Strength is never measured by how much you can conquer, but by how deeply you can remain humble. The Shaolin path reminds us physical mastery without purity of intent is incomplete. A body trained without virtue becomes a weapon against itself. Purity does not mean perfection, it means alignment, the harmony between thought, word, and action. When your training is guided by compassion, when your movement is born from honesty, the energy within you becomes clean and powerful. It no longer burns from ego, it shines from integrity. Virtue is the unseen pillar of endurance. Pride cracks easily under pressure, but humility bends and survives. The master bows before he teaches, not out of formality, but out of remembrance. That strength without respect is emptiness, and respect without strength is weakness. To purify the body is to cleanse intention. Before every act, ask, why do I do this? If the answer carries truth, the body aligns with spirit and action flows without resistance. But if it carries arrogance, tension will follow, and the very power you built will undo you. In ancient practice, the pure heart and the trained body were seen as one. When virtue anchors strength, your presence brings peace, not fear. Your power serves life, not the ego. And through that harmony, the body becomes not just ready, but sacred. In the cold of winter, the young monks were sent to train barefoot on the frost-covered stones. Their breath rose like smoke, their fingers stiff, their legs shaking. Many cursed the cold in silence. Yet the old master only said, if you learn to move in the cold, no season will command you. Discomfort is the gate through which strength enters. The body grows through resistance, not ease. The mind awakens when it is pressed against its own limits. Every tremble, every strain, every ache is the body learning how to endure, how to adapt, how to rise again. Those who flee from discomfort flee from the very forge that shapes them. The ancient masters knew that fear lives in the same place as potential, right at the edge of what is known. To meet discomfort is to meet yourself beyond habit and safety. In that moment when the breath grows short and the heart resists, you stand between weakness and awakening. If you choose to stay, something within begins to shift. Pain teaches presence. It demands honesty. It strips away pretense and pride, leaving only what is real. When the body trembles but the will stays calm. When fear whispers but you breathe through it, that is where mastery begins. There is no need to seek suffering, but when it finds you, face it with steady eyes. The mountain does not bend to the wind. It allows the wind to carve it into greatness. So too must you allow discomfort to carve you into resilience. Each time you stand firm in unease, you reclaim a part of your strength. One day, the cold no longer feels cruel, and fear loses its voice. What once broke your rhythm becomes the rhythm itself, quiet, enduring, and free. In the temple hall, before the first light of dawn, the monks would sit in silence, their chests rising and falling like gentle waves. The world outside could rage with wind, rain, or fire, yet within those walls, the storm never reached them. The secret was not the quiet around them, but the stillness within. The breath is the bridge between body and spirit. It is neither fast nor slow, neither loud nor hidden, it simply is. And yet in its rhythm lies the power to steady the mind, to guide the body, to awaken the soul. A single controlled breath can calm racing thoughts, release tension, and restore clarity. It carries the weight of discipline and the freedom of surrender simultaneously. In movement, breath becomes more than survival. It becomes a guide. Every step, every strike, every stance is aligned with the inhale and exhale, like water flowing over stone. The body moves, but the spirit remains unshaken. This is the teaching of stillness inside motion. To the untrained eye, a warrior moves. To the awakened eye, the warrior does not move at all. Ancient masters often said, when the breath is mastered, the moment is mastered. Life does not wait for preparation. Storms, challenges, and chaos arrive without warning. But when the breath is steady, the body and mind respond as one. The heart does not leap, the muscles do not tremble, the mind does not scatter. Presence flows naturally, effortless, yet precise. To train in breath and stillness is to learn the rhythm of life itself. It is the quiet power that no attack can touch, no distraction can sway. In stillness, you find movement. In breath, you find command. And in that command, readiness is no longer a practice. It becomes a way of being. Long ago, a student came to the master carrying a heavy staff, swinging it with all his strength. "Master," he said, "see how powerful I have become." The master nodded but did not speak. Instead, he took the staff gently in his hands, and with a single touch redirected the student's momentum so that the swing stopped effortlessly. The student fell back in surprise. The master said quietly, "Power without ease is clumsy. Strength without softness is brittle." True mastery lives in the space between opposites. Tension and relaxation are not enemies, they are partners. When the body is too tight, energy is trapped. Movement becomes harsh, and the mind grows rigid. When the body is too loose, the spirit drifts and strength dissipates. Only in balance does force become precise and controlled. The same applies to power and gentleness. A strike delivered with awareness can fell an opponent, but the same strike delivered with arrogance destroys the wielder. A heart tempered with gentleness can move through the world without breaking, while one filled with unchecked aggression fractures at the first challenge. Movement and stillness, too, must dance together. A stance held in stillness carries weight and intention. Movement executed with presence flows naturally, without wasted effort. Neither extreme alone brings readiness, but together they form harmony. To be ready is to inhabit this middle path, to strike when necessary, yet to yield when needed, to hold strength and softness as one, to breathe life into every action while remaining anchored in calm. This is the wisdom the ancient masters preserved, that the body and mind are mirrors of each other, and mastery is found not in force or rigidity, but in the artful balance of all things. In this balance, resilience grows. The body moves efficiently, the mind perceives clearly, and the spirit remains unshaken. Mastery is not a single quality, but the harmonious dance of opposites within you. A warrior once asked an elder, "How do I endure when the body aches and the days feel endless?" The elder smiled and said, "Tell me, why do you endure?" The warrior paused, realizing he had never asked himself that question. Without purpose, even the strongest body bends under pressure. With purpose, even the weakest finds strength. The body is not merely flesh and bone. It is the vessel through which the spirit acts. When every movement, every breath, every beat of the heart is aligned with a higher aim, truth, service, or awakening, pain is transformed. What once would have been suffering becomes a teacher. Every strain, every effort, every challenge carves resilience into the very marrow. In the Shaolin tradition, training was never random. Every posture, every strike, every hour of meditation had intention. The monks did not endure hardship for vanity or recognition. They endured to align body, mind, and spirit with a purpose greater than themselves. Purpose gives direction to energy, clarity to effort, and meaning to sacrifice. Without it, even mastery of technique can crumble under the first shadow of doubt. When the body serves a higher cause, endurance is no longer a burden. It becomes a kind of power. The heart grows steady in the face of struggle. The muscles respond without hesitation, and the mind remains anchored. Pain becomes the teacher, challenge becomes the path, and the body itself becomes a tool for realization. To cultivate a purpose-driven body is to live intentionally. Each step, each breath, each motion carries weight because it carries meaning. Strength is not measured by what can be lifted or struck, but by how faithfully the body carries the spirit toward its calling. In this way, the body is unbreakable, not through sheer force, but through alignment with purpose. To ready the body is not merely to train the muscles or perfect the technique. It is to align every breath, every movement, and every thought with purpose and presence. Discipline sharpens the mind, stillness steadies the spirit, and awareness guides the body. When life's storms arrive, these are the foundations that hold the chosen ones firm, unshaken by fear or chaos. Let each day become practice. Walk with intention, breathe with attention, and move with mindfulness. Face discomfort with courage, balance strength with gentleness, and let virtue anchor your power. In these small, consistent acts, the body becomes more than a vessel. It becomes a temple, a weapon, and a shield all at once. Carry this lesson into your life. Honor your body, respect your mind, and nurture your spirit. When the moment comes, you will not simply endure, you will rise with clarity and purpose. Thank you for walking this path with us. If the teachings of awareness, discipline, and inner mastery resonate with you, join our journey. Like this video, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, and let the flame of practice continue to burn quietly, steadily within you.